Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who's been having a fun week. I've been mostly talking about rap artists who are showing a lot of personal growth, having interesting interactions with their fan bases, interesting interactions with the concept of aging and art, and one of those artists is Drake. I'm going to be reviewing his album For All the Dogs, Scary Season 3. I just call it Scary Dogs. I'm going to be reviewing Scary Dogs today. But you don't want me to. I put a poll. I said, what do you think I should prioritize? Drake, Danny Brown, or Andre 3000? And 61% of you wanted Danny Brown, 35% of you wanted Andre 3000, and only 4% of you wanted Drake. So I guess this video is not going to get many views. But I do think it's a good way to sort of end these two questions I've asked over and over again. Now, I asked this question on my community page and on Instagram, and these are the two main questions which I think this random chance of these three albums being released this weekend are helping us to ask. One, what is an artist's responsibility to its audience? And two, what happens when that artist is at odds with what their audience wants? Now, for the first question, I believe the answer is nothing. I believe an artist owes nothing to an audience. And if an artist's vision happens to align with what the audience wants, then all the better. If not, then so be it, right? But what's interesting is Drake. Because when you ask the question, what happens when an artist's vision is at odds with their audience, you can't really just straight up ask that question with Drake, because he has two audiences. The first audience is the pop audience, and the second audience is the rap audience. The pop audience is distracted and petulant. So they're not really paying attention. If you do something that they like, I'm too sexy or whatever, they'll click in and they'll be excited and okay, good, we have another unit of Drake. He just keeps on cranking out product. My review of For All the Dogs, my thumbnail used the sort of image of an EA Sports game, that this is Drake 24, and then next year we'll have Drake 25. So that's the pop audience. But then there's the rap audience, because he truly is a great rap star. He truly has changed the nature of hip-hop over the past 20 years, for better and for worse. He is a great beat selector. He does help producers. He does help other rappers. And he does rap good rhymes. Whether or not he writes those rhymes, I don't always know. But he has that. He has the audience. And that audience is demanding and petulant. So we have two different petulant audiences that sort of complain and want a certain thing from Drake. So what happens then for Drake? Because he can't really serve both masters. If he serves his rap fans, his pop fans are disinterested. If he serves his pop fans, then his rap fans are angry. So that's the nub, that's the heart of this whole EP, because this Scary Hours thing is like an EP that he tacked on to the other album, and the other album has just it's full of Drake bloat, which means it has too many songs, because that's how he makes money. He makes money on clicks and on views, not on quality engagement with his music. That's why his albums are too long with too many songs. So what he's trying to do here is he's trying to sort of circle a square. He's trying to serve both audiences. He's saying, okay, pop fans, here's For All the Dogs. And then if you're a rap fan, like me, and I saw the title For All the Dogs, and I saw that Conductor Williams and Alchemist were producing on it, I thought this is going to be an album of just straight spitting. There's a lot of singing and whining, a lot of pop stuff on there. So finally, with this addendum, he makes an album that actually fits the title For All the Dogs. But before we go too far on this kind of dichotomy of a real artist doesn't just simply serve commercial needs, right? That's why I praised Andre 3000 so much, because he is doing something that is going against the commercial demands put on him. Society demands that we produce units of our labor and that we produce them efficiently. As a professor, I'm asked to produce units of teaching that can be assessed and are most effective to the most amount of students for the least amount of money to the taxpayers of the state of New York. A pop star is supposed to produce the most amount of pop stars in their style, just boom, songs in their style, boom. You get a unit of Taylor, you get a unit of Drake. So the problem is, rap music isn't like other art forms. Part of rap music is about success. That is actually a part of the artistic art form. Like, that's not, rock and roll and abstract expressionism and all that. Going back, very few artworks are judged by their popularity. But part of hip hop, it's a competitive art, has been who is number one. So, if Drake is number one, then he is always being the most successful rap artist. And that's where we get to the general contradiction, which can often happen between our concept of what an artist is supposed to be and our concept of what rap is supposed to be. Can you have an art form that is primarily judged on its commercial performance? Is that not vulgar and capitalist disgusting? Or is it interesting? Is it interesting to have a largely competitive art form? So in my channel, in general, I talk mostly about underground rap artists who have largely not determined their success by the amount of albums that they sell. It's usually by the amount of praise they get from other rappers or from connoisseurs or just by serving their own vision. But Drake is different, and I don't think we need to just simply dismiss him because of that. A lot of Drake's issue too, and on this album, is another question that I kept asking about Danny Brown and Future. Why do I keep calling Andre 3000 Future? I mean, I know they both have connections to the Dungeon, and they're both from Atlanta, but Andre 3000 and Danny Brown are trying to figure out how to age. How do you get old in a young man's game? And Drake has done something that no one else has done. He has stayed hot. Only Kanye came close. Right up until Kanye self-immolated through his horrible actions, or through his horrible words and questionable actions. Words that were so hatefully bad that they were actually bad actions. Like, Drake has stayed hot for decade upon decade upon decade, which is why I say, don't hate, celebrate. Just, that's why I keep reviewing Drake, even though I throw a lot of shade at him quite often. Quite often I throw shade at Drake on these reviews. It's okay. He can handle it. This is an always positive review channel, but I don't think that positivity always has to hold to artists who have so much respect and fame and accolades, right? And the thing about Drake is part of the reason that he stayed so relevant is that he stays so easy to criticize. It's so easy to debate him. It's so easy to talk about what he does and what he doesn't do. Let's face it, even if you're a Drake hater, he is one of the most endlessly fascinating artists to discuss. In pop culture, there are very few people who are worth more sort of time and thought than Drake. So let's get to the EP, okay? For all the dogs. Scary hours. It's like he's like trying to come up with like tough sounding words to make sure you know this, but this one though, this is going to be the one with bars. And what's funny is with his two different modes, Drake actually reminds me of one of my dogs, of Toby. Toby's a very good boy. He's actually not a good boy. He's very mischievous. He's not dangerous, but he's mischievous. But like sometimes like I'll tell Toby not to do something and he doesn't understand. He understands that he's supposed to feel shame and not do it anymore, but he doesn't understand what he's supposed to do. So he tucks his tail between his legs and he sort of moves forwards and backwards at the same time. If you have a dog, I'm sure you've seen this before, where it's like, I want to serve you, human. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to sit or am I supposed to leave? Am I supposed to run or am I supposed to walk? Like, how, human, do I help you? That's kind of how it feels with Drake right now. It's like, am I supposed to be in the kitchen? Am I supposed to be doing hardcore beats and rhymes? Or am I supposed to be pop guy? Or he's just... he seems like with this project, especially this particular project, he is looking at the rap world and saying, am I doing this right? Is this it? Is this bars? But at the same time, he's like, I don't care about bars. I'm not doing bars. You want to skip this one. So... let me give you an example of the best part of this album. Because, let's face it, this album has what is arguably the best Drake song of all time. Well, the second best. Nothing's ever going to beat 0 to 100, I don't think. But stories about my brother, click above the Velvet Underground if you want to hear the song, if you haven't heard it already. First of all, this is the second track he's done, produced by Conductor Williams. If you don't know Conductor Williams, you obviously don't watch my channel. Conductor Williams is one of, if not the best hip-hop producers right now working. Okay, there's other people in his lane. There's other people who are, I would say, similarly good in a similar way. Danny LaFleur or Alchemist or a whole bunch of other people you can put in the comments who you think are better than Conductor Williams. But I think Conductor Williams is one of the top underground producers in the world. And the fact that Drake is working with somebody who is one of the top underground producers in the world is important. And this is the thing, Conductor Williams is psyched. This is good for hip-hop. This is good that Conductor Williams is getting this kind of shine on him. It's not just another Boy Wonder, Noah, 40 Shabib thing. He says himself in a Instagram post, I follow like 90 people on Instagram. I'm not very good at Instagram. And Conductor Williams is like one of my favorite follows. Working with Drake allows me to be more musical. The hunt for melodies that call and respond to each other. I'm so thankful we linked. The musical connection is natural. Train emoji, owl emoji. And you really hear it in the beat. This isn't a traditional Conductor beat. It's a little bit less raw. It's a little bit more tuneful. It's kind of a cool jazzy beat. A little more tame, less flashy. Really nice bass work. These great kind of warbled horns that are being played all the way throughout. At times he'll pull the horns out. Sometimes he'll pull them back in. These little tiny piano bits at the end. And what it ends up being is Conductor Williams is, especially his work with Rome Streets. If you don't have the album Kiss the Ring, or if you don't know the album Kiss the Ring, as one of like the great pairings of producers and MCs in the last couple of years. But he just lays such a good beat for Drake to show off. You know? But this is always my problem with Drake. Is he writing these lyrics? I think Drake is a great, important artist. I don't know if he's a great rhyme writer. I just don't know. I can't tell. Because I know that he uses... Every time I hear a good Drake lyric, I go, that's... His ghostwriters are doing great. And again, I think the same thing about Kanye or Dr. Dre, right? Like any of these sort of people who that's not their thing. But people got a heavy read on my disposition. Talking loose, then hit me up after some please Drake listen. Energy they bring in is inconsistent. I got 2 Virgil Benzes, one that I'm whipping right now, the other one that I'm keeping in mint condition. You know, multisyllabic rhymes, permission, condition, a great flex having Virgil Abloh design Mercedes-Benz. I mean, a truly rare car. Same story every time. They heckle in repetition. I'm at the top of the mountain. He's still at the base camp. They plan in the expedition. Like, it's a great image. You know, it's a great image of him at the top and then planning to go. Y'all catch a charge, head to the deposition, and act like a rapper named after the sex position. Talking about Takeshi 6ix9ine, like he's doing those kinds of rhymes where you have to do one layer to think about it. And I don't know. If this is Drake writing these rhymes, and of course it's possible, then praise to him. If not, he's picking a great rhyme writer because it's just these are great lines. And then he goes on to this whole thing, but let me tell you about my brother. And it's weird. It's great. This is great. This is just a great song. Because he's like, let me talk about my brother. But the brother, he doesn't have a brother. So he's just sort of talking about this sort of mythical... It's weird. It's almost like he's talking about some sort of mythical, archetypical gangster rapper type figure. And it's weird because all throughout his music now, he's obsessed with his like shooters and all the people he has who will kill you for him. And he talks about it so much. And it's weird because obviously if he was saying that he is killing people, no one would believe him. So maybe this is just a way for him to seem dangerous. If he talks about having shooters all the time. I've got shooters. I put a dot on your head, like whatever, you know? Like, okay, maybe. I don't believe it, even for a second. And I don't think it's meaningful. I don't think it's meaningful if he has a lot of shooters. This dude's like worth $200 million. He doesn't need shooters. He just needs good bodyguards. But still. So it seems like that's who his brother is. But it's great because the whole verse is like so hard and rhyme. And then he's just like, let me tell you about my brother, though. It has a little bit of space. Some more great punchlines. Stick it to you for real. He a lint roller. Again, he's constantly talking about other men doing all of these acts of masculine violence. You know? 21, would you do something for me? There's a whole thing we could do here about like the way that Drake outsources masculinity. Damn it, that's awesome. I'm sorry, that's not on my notes. I just thought of that right now. Tell me in the comments, would you please? Because that's what he does. He outsources masculinity to Future, to 21 Savage, maybe even to J. Cole, but maybe not so much to J. Cole, to his shooters, to his brother, and then he just gets to be, and I'm talking about a sort of normative, mostly toxic masculinity here. I'm not talking about like actual masculinity, you know. Okay. He has a whole verse about like Spider-Man and Iron Man and Robins. It's kind of a nice little verse there. And this great line, I'm CN towering over Utens, I'm giant as fuck, which is just a great line. Like it could be over, but this song does a thing, which is when it's for all the dogs, it's for all the dogs like me who love the hip hop, okay? People who will just scream KRS-One at your face for 45 minutes at a dinner party while you're trying to get a drink from the punch bowl. You know, like, this does the thing where it doesn't stop. He comes back. Man, either way, beware the dog, deep in my character flaws, humble back in 2012, now we give arrogant bars, just go, oh, now we go out for dinner, we joke about sharing the cost, just like this warbled sound of the beat at the end. It's great. It's a great song, it's funny, it's well-rhymed, it's a great combination of rapper and producer. So he did it. Unfortunately, the rest of this project isn't as interesting as that song, but hey, he did it for that one. I'll go through the rest of the album a little bit quicker. First track is produced by Overcast and Lil Yachty, and it's a cool beat, you know, the kind of stop and start beat. I like Lil Yachty's production, but this is the thing. You know the line, revenge is a dish best served cold? It makes sense, right? So this is a revenge track on Kanye West, artist currently known as Ye. And it's continuation of this beef. But the thing is, it was never that good. The beef between Ye and Drake was never that good. Be honest with me. Be honest. Was there ever a time when you heard either of them diss each other and you thought, oh, this was never Can I Bust and LL Cool J, or Cool Mo D and LL Cool J, okay? Or any other of your favorite beefs you want to put in the comment section. Eminem and anyone else who's white, right? There's none of those kinds of things, right? This is just like every time Kanye was talking, I had a whole argument with my son yesterday saying that the beef with Drake ruined Life of the Party. He's like, no, didn't that song rule? So I'm like, yeah, that song does rule, but it would be a lot better if he wasn't whining about Drake. And even the whole like going on in the Certified Lover Boy, it's just not that interesting. And so then to bring it now, after Ye is buried himself, okay? I mean, who knows? Ye might rise again. I heard that new song. He might rise again. Who knows, right? He's the greatest living artist, period. I don't care if he's a good person or a bad person. He's the greatest living artist. So if anyone's capable of rising artistically, it's him. If he can get out of his own way. But I mean, like, this beef is over. Who killed the Drake-Ye beef? Ye killed the Drake-Ye beef. Okay? And so, like, this is my metaphor for, like, a dish best served cold. You know, a good rap beef, you know, it's like a nice tuna tartare. You ever have tuna tartare when it's served really well? I had a restaurant I used to go to. I liked it a lot. I had this tuna tartare. And one time I went there, they didn't have it on the menu anymore. So instead I got the garlic butter steak, you know? So, okay, you know, I wanted something like really good, but here's the beef. The beef is a garlic butter steak. And I eat it, and the portions are a little bit too big. Too many songs. They talk too much about this beef. But whatever, I eat it, you know? And they bring out the dessert menu, and it's like only chocolate cake, which is like the worst. That's the worst dessert at any restaurant, but I get a piece of chocolate cake. The bill comes, I pay the bill, I get up to go, and then Drake, the waiter, comes back and says, I have another garlic butter steak for you. It's like, Drake, I just finished eating this disappointing meal, okay? It was fine. It was fine. The meat was overcooked, and the cake was too dry, but I'm done, man. I don't need another serving of Drake-Ye beef. I just don't need it. So anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, you pay the bill, you sign the check, you're out the door, and he stops you and says, here you go, you have to sit there and eat this. Now, I do like that he that he calls Taylor Swift the N-word and praises her. I do think that's a funny, good way to get at Ye. that's pretty good. There's a rain stick on this beat, which is like tied into the Under 3000 album. I do like how he quotes Wu-Tang Clan with I'll fucking, but then just leaves it there, leaving rap fans to fill it in with torture. So the song's not bad, and it's not even a bad beef song. It's just, dude, let me get to my car, okay? Let me get to my car. I don't want to eat any more garlic butter steak. Next track is Stories About My Brother. Already discussed it. Then we get to The Shoe Fits. Again, produced by Overcast and Lil Yachty. This is a one-man posse cut. It's like 8 minutes long. It's super long, cool 70s, soft sample, little flute-like sounds. And it's a one-man posse cut. It should have 5 people on it, but it's just Drake. And what I like about this song is that it's 2 different Drakes. One Drake is kind of a petty little idiot, right? His sort of standard, like, this girl didn't like me enough. Okay? And then the other part is this cool thing he's doing where he's like taking sympathy for a woman who is in an abusive relationship. So he starts right off saying, you might want to skip this one, which is, that is beautiful provocation of Drake haters. Because how do you not take the bait with Drake saying, you might want to skip this one? How bad did you just want to hit? But no. So, like, he starts off with all the ladies wondering why Drake can't rap like that same old guy. It's because I don't know how anymore. So this is that aging thing. Like, he's talking like he can't be 0 to 100 Drake. It's like, you read this, and it's too late. It actually is too late. Now it is actually too late. But that's just, like, part of the song. Then there's this whole story about this woman who's in an abusive relationship, domestic abuse, that man's not a man for you, he's a pathetic excuse. But Drake even goes further and does something which I think is super important, which is emphasizes that abuse in a relationship is not limited to things that leave bruises. It's also by control and manipulation. Whole time he's jealous of your past, who the fuck was your last, asking questions about you get slapped in the face if you happen to know him. Like, that's great. He's actually getting to the nature of abuse. He's really addressing abuse here. But then he has this whole weird verse about like women who don't want to have sex with him because they have their stuff all together. And he gets like super bitter about them being on OnlyFans. It's just... And then there's like this revenge tale of like a different woman who broke up with a different jealous guy who maybe it's the same guy. And then in the end, it's like he's with James Harden, who's a basketball player. And there's this weird sort of thing that's sort of like, what's that manosphere stuff? Like high value men. Like earlier she insults this guy for not even being a starting quarterback, and now she's talking about James Harden. So it's sort of like these high value men are the men that she should be with, obviously implying with him. But again, he's outsourcing it anyways. He's not with this woman or any of these women. There's only one woman in this. Yeah, he isn't with any of these women. It's pretty weird. Next track is Wick Man, produced by Alchemist. Weird beat by Alchemist, very kind of gentle, much like Conductor Williams, kind of more subtle here. Tinkling, almost like meditation sounds. Again, makes me think Under 3000. Great backwards drum beat here. And he starts off rapping hard, which I like. It's a very good verse. Point me to your boss, you a receptionist. I really hate the fact I make this shit sound effortless. I put so much thought into the messages. It's borderline obsessiveness. Remember who you messing with. White America says I'm becoming a threat. I speak on behalf of white America when I tell you, Drake, no one thinks you're a threat. It'd be great if you were. Dude, if you became a threat, Drake, if you actually threatened white America, that would be awesome. As a stock white liberal that I am, please threaten America. Please come out with an album that's like attacking systematic racism. That'd be dope. I would love it. As it is, white America is very comfortable with, by white America, I mean sort of the systemic power held by majority generational wealth of mostly people who look like me. Like they're very happy with what you're doing, making a lot of money for a lot of people and not really questioning the underlying values that keep us in power. So anyways, Black America loved to remind me what my mama looked like as if I'd ever forget. Great line because his mother's white. I do like this though. He's getting to the truth of himself. And then he says, I'm never enough. And that's it. That's it. I'm never enough. Drake just told the truth. In the middle of this 98 song double album EP thing, I'm never enough. This is it. This is what keeps him going. This is the feeling that he has. He cannot serve two masters. He cannot serve the rap fans or the pop fans. He cannot serve his white fans or his black fans. He cannot serve anybody. He is just never enough. And yet, he is the biggest star in music of the 21st century. Okay? Drake. Is there anyone more interesting than Drake? Not really. Next track is Evil Ways, produced by Vinyl, Boy Wonder, FNX, Fierce. This sucks. I mean, the song's fine, but it kind of sucks because I was like, awesome, we're like all Yachty and Conductor, and now we're getting to sort of like the standard Bog, group of producers. And I'm just not excited for the future 21 Savage collaborations. Like, it's fine, but it feels more like it's dragging Cole down and not pushing Drake up. It's just kind of a boring beat. I like the fact that they have a two-man weave going here. There's a funny catch line, punchline. We Lincoln like we free the slaves, making reference to Abbey Road, Volkswagen, like I'm running like Beatles place. But it's, I don't know. It's just this thing, right? It's like, it's part of what makes Drake so interesting is he's constantly trying to find people he can be in a symbiotic relationship with, which again, Kanye West is most similar to his two greatest foes, Taylor Swift and Drake. Kanye West was constantly looking for people who he could feed off of. He could feed off their artistic relevance, their meaning, and then he could give them his genius and his relevance, okay? Basquiat and Andy Warhol, same basic idea. I give you power, you give me youth and coolness. Good, Or in this case, with Conductor Williams, with Alchemist, with J. Cole, I give you pop exposure and a bag. You give me authenticity of people who love rapidy rap. So it's cool. It's cool. But anyways. The final track is called You Broke My Heart, the funniest song of the year. By far, no song has made me laugh harder. Now, the beat itself is fine. He's ascending strings and oh, baby, don't go. I like how he goes super hard in the beginning. I put career on shelves like Amazon distribution center help. Really hate to call on broski for the dirty work. I'd rather do it myself. Gra, gra, gra. Again, he's constantly talking about all the people he pays to murder for him. But I'm so tired of hearing about his hit. Even J. Cole was talking about his hitters, saying he has so many hitters in Atlanta, it's like he's got the Braves. It's like, no, he doesn't. There's no Dale Murphy on Drake's album. Okay, but then just the funniest bit here. Okay, so he starts going into the auto-tune. All of a sudden, even though this is like only 6 songs or whatever, he abandons the whole idea of this scary hours, like bars, with this auto-tune. You broke my heart, you broke my heart. And then he just says, over and over again, fuck my ass. He says it 30, 40 times. He has this other guy, Smiley, singing along with him. At one point, he suggests using a middle finger. I swear to God that is what he says. Okay, according to Lyric Genius, he says, fuck my ex, which is also weird because it's a breakup song and he's trying to say like he's angry at her, but actually if you're saying that, you're actually saying have sex with my ex-girlfriend, which is like part of the whole problem that he has. Whatever it is, I like to think this is intentional. Like to be provocative, to like raise questions. I don't know what. There's no way nobody in the studio heard him go, fuck my ass, fuck my ass. And no one said, Drake, it's quite possible to mishear this. So maybe he's just doing a thing where he's like trying to be provocative and trying to get me to joke and make a meme, which I did and put on Instagram and laugh about it. Of course, nothing would be fun. If Drake wants that, that's wonderful. You know what I mean? Like that would be a very interesting turn on this album and in his career if he revealed himself to be either bisexual or gay or to be into very specific kinds of kink. Like awesome. But I know, I get it. He's just mad at his ex-girlfriend. It's okay. Anyways, my wife is going hard on Thanksgiving. So I'm recording this video right before Thanksgiving. It's American Thanksgiving now. If you're here, thank you very much. Have a nice Thanksgiving. These are my Patreons. They give me money so I can buy music. I don't think I'm buying this album Truthfully, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I like Drake. All right, there's the camera.